Hi, Gary Jenkins here, and welcome to my video on how to paint a raven with a couple of butterflies. This is going to be fun and very creative, and hope you enjoy the video. So let's get started with the raven with two butterflies. Bye-bye. First of all, we're going to start in with our purple. I'm using about a little over a 1-inch synthetic brush. And we're going to start up here, and I'm using, of course, this is acrylic, and I'm using water to make it move. And on it goes. Really getting it nice and wet. I love purple. And it's going to come on down. And the paint will be put on in layers. I'll put this layer on and let it dry. And then I'll go in with another layer on top of this. So you notice how I'm kind of cutting across. I'm not just bringing it down straight. Don't worry about any runnies. It's okay. We'll be going over that. Keep dipping into the water. When I want it more opaque, I use less water. Very, very dark. And down we come, all the way down to the bottom. Maybe put a little of this turquoise with it. Just because I can. Well, we got the sun coming in here a little bit. Might have to stop here in a little bit. Let that go. Because it's coming in my skylight, so I can't help it. In it goes. Boy, that's dark. Now this won't match the one I'm working from exactly. Tearing off some paper towel. And who wants to match it? Let's chip into a little more of my yellow. I get that over here. Painting down here in the corner. Probably off your screen a little bit. And up we go. I'm going to take some of this magenta and yellow, which kind of makes an orange. And that's going to go right in here. Again, I'm using a crisscross stroke. You gotta love this stuff. Okie dokie. A little more of that magenta and yellow up here. This is a 14 by 18 canvas, by the way. I keep dipping into the water. Get this paint to move around up here. And I'll be putting another layer. I'm going to let this dry. because the sun, as you can see, is starting to come in here. So I'll probably quit for a minute and dry this up, and then after the sun passes by, we'll put some more color in there. I'm looking at this turquoise before I go bye-bye here. Oh yeah, look at that color. Woo! Okay, I'm just going to throw some of that in there and just let it sit there. Let this sunshine run across the canvas. So I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to dry this background up and we'll talk a little bit more about this background, which is magenta. And we're going to put some of that. Oh, just dropped it on the floor. I'm going to take some of that color and white, mixed it together, and put that up here. Sort of a pale greenish tone. And on it goes. Now this is not in the one that I'm working from, but I wanted to get this light over here where the butterflies will be flying into. And I'm going to take some of that turquoise and work that into that color while it's still wet. See, it's a crisscross stroke. Now, if you're going to be an artist, it takes patience. It takes time, especially the stuff I'm showing you. Too many folks out there want to just do this instant stuff where they put a mush down and there's a tree or a bush or something. That's okay if that's what you want. But that's not what we're doing here. Yellow. A little of that magenta. Yeah, now we have a nice transition of color coming up. It's not too wet, it's kind of on the dry side. I love turquoise, so I'm going to take that. Oh boy, I know, because the background's all dry now. And in it goes. No, nothing, you don't want anything going straight, horizontal, or vertical. Everything is curving one way or the other, and down it comes. Even after this is dry and we get our birds and butterflies and all that stuff in, we'll still go back in with oil and mess around with it. Good old, my little spray bottle. I spray the whole thing. That really brings the color out nicely. So we can see what we're doing. Oh, it's kind of running a little. I like that. Now, because it's wet, look at, I'm going to put some more in here. I'm going to squirt that. And watch it run. Watch it run. Let it do its thing. Don't get in the way of it. So, oh, look at that purple. I like the way that purple works with the blue. Our raven will be going up here. And because he's so dark, I need to make sure we have this light back there to show him off. I'm going to squirt that. I put another color out on my palette. I put some black out. Black. Ivory black. I want it very dark up here. I'm going to bring that down. We're getting some good stuff happening. I'm going to squirt that, let that run. Oh, not too many squirts. How are we doing? Take a minute now. Let God paint it. You can just sit back, have some coffee, and watch it do its thing by itself. Maybe some of that good old purple. Oh, did I show you the tubes I'm using? It's Liquitex Basics. Comes in a big tube. It's the most reasonable priced paint out there because you use so much of the paint. Now I'm going to come out. This is a little different. A little different. I'm going to give the indicate. This is with the purple. With the big brush so you don't get a lot of detail going. Oh boy. Turquoise. Everybody thinks leaves have to be green. Here's some turquoise leaves. Very light touch, getting just little junky little things going. Now, when people view your painting, this lets their imagination work. I'm going to take some of this white and my good old purple down here and mix it together. Some of this stuff is really just so subtle. Look at it come down. Things come around, maybe curve and gets lost into the dark. So we add some mystery to the painting. Maybe some of that black will cut over the blue. We're creating, guys. We're doing stuff that's never been done before, for good or for bad. It's all new stuff. What we're doing is letting our imagination work. Oh boy, is that a bad word? Imagination. Oh, yeah. Pushing down more, maybe some larger leaves. I don't even know if this might not even stay. I might want to give that a squirt. Let it run. I like that. Remember now, we're creating. What fun. I don't know why anybody else would want to do anything else. I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck in my ways. I don't know. Turquoise and yellow. Boom. Let's hit that again. Boom. Contrast. Work it in. Let's hit that with the bottle. Let's see what that'll do. Play. Play like a child in a sandbox. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Boom, 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 boom. I want my white and yellow. White and yellow. Can you see? People say, oh, what is that? It looks just like a blob of color. No. We're indicating little leaves, little garbagey things happening. It doesn't have to look like a leaf. How boring can that be? I'm going to take some of that color and let's bring it on up. Bring it on up. We're going to hit that again. Boom. Take contrast, little white. We're going to hit that. Boom. Boy, I'm deviating away from the original. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that has fun doing this stuff. Is anybody out there watching? Anybody care? Oh, if you do care, hit that subscribe button down there. I'm putting some more white out. We're on a roll now. I want more contrast. Yellow and white. Yellow and white. Boom, boom, Can you see that? Boom! It's exploding. Oh, look at that stuff coming in. Help me. Somebody, help me. Look at it curve. Come on down. Little, it's that little, can you see? Oh, can you see that little stuff? Too much fun. Too much fun. Remember, now this is dark up here. Maybe it's a little too dark because of if we put our raven in, you're going to go, where's the raven? Well, he's there, but he's in shadow. You can't see him because he's in shadow. Wouldn't that save us a lot of work? I'm going to tear off some more paper towel, make some noise. So I'm going to lighten it up there where that raven's going to go. This color we used up here. Yeah, we're going to bring that on over. Now he'll show up against that background. I'm going to give that a squirt. Oh, wait, look at it go. Oh, honey, watch out. We're getting something here. Something is brewing. Something is cooking. I'm going to pull that out. Now this stuff, you know, there's no free lunch. It ain't easy. I know that. You're going to crash and burn. I know that. But it's the people that pick themselves up and get back in the race. That's life. That's what they say. Shot down in April, back on my feet in May. Yep, so true. The winners out there are the ones that hang in there, and they get mad at themselves. They say, I can do this. If Jenkins can do it, I can do it. And that's the truth. Not everything has to be blended out. You can leave some of these little square shapes showing. Now right in here, I'm setting it up. I'm thinking where that raven's face will be going right in there, and then his body will come down and disappear into all these wonderful purples. Later on, when this is dry and our bird is in and our butterflies are cooking and flying, we'll come in with oil and just indicate some flowers down in here. Maybe we'll put a couple stems going. Yeah. See, it's that subtle stuff that people love. And all we're doing is setting up our wonderful abstract background for our subject to go on. I know, and I keep telling you, this is not for everybody. And that's great, because it makes it special. You're not going to find everybody doing this, or teaching it, or doing certification classes on watered down versions of this. Look for the quality. And the quality and getting into the high-end galleries, that's something you have to earn. Nobody's going to give it to you. Anything in life, at least with me, nobody gave me anything. I had to work for it. I even had people try to take what I had away from me, if you've watched Netflix. That didn't work too well. Well, it won't work at all, because they won't be able to do this stuff. Yeah. I like that. It's very subtle, but we're going to go in with oil later. Remember, I've got orbs and stuff I want to play around with later. That's a whole new ball game where we'll be getting into my orbs. Now, very important at this stage that you don't want to overwork it. Now, there's some subtle stuff going on in here. I don't know if it's picked up on the camera. It might not be, but it's working, and we're going to probably, oh yeah, remember, it's not the end result. Again, I'm going to stress to you guys, no free lunch. You want to be able to do this. What'll happen, folks will start to do this, and they'll get a hold of it, and it'll start to work, and they say, oh, that's good, maybe more is better, and they put more on and more on, and pretty soon this beautiful area right in here is lost with a lot of junk going on up here. Then you're going to put your bird and your butter, and it's so busy nobody wants to watch it, even look at it, because it's so busy and so irritating. Just enough, because we only want about 60% of it in. The rest of it is going to be the bird, the butterfly, and an indication of some of the flowers. I don't know yet. We haven't been there. It hasn't been born yet. That's the beauty of this whole thing. Acrylics. Ooh, let me see if I got my daughter Heather, who's an artist in San Diego, California, gave me some of this fluorescent paint. And I just put some on the palette. I'm going to put some on my finger. And maybe, Zowie. It might not stay, I don't know. But we can enjoy it for the moment. Look how I'm patting it in. Getting that little extra, little warm color against all of that cool color. The cool green. Subtleties. And people that look at your paintings, they'll get their nose right up against this, and they'll look at the colors. And everybody will see something a little different. Not everything needs to be spelled out. Leave something to the imagination. Let the people viewing your painting participate in the painting of it. They will see different stuff. And then when they take it home and they hang it on the wall and they look at it, it's constantly changing. They're constantly seeing different things going on. Can you not wait for the raven to go in? Can you see it all set up now? The stage is set for the raven. The beautiful butterflies flying in. Down in here where it's really dark, don't forget, I know it's dark down here, but we'll go in later with oil and bring some of those subtle darks out, some mystery. So it looks like there's something going on. What's going on? It's way back in the shadow. It's a play, it's a drama. And we are the paint are the actors, and we're the directors, and we're telling them where we want them to go, and who the stars are, and who are the supporting players, like the blues. Yes. Learning to see. Now S-E-E, what a little word. Okay, now it looks like we're all ready to do our raven. And let me tell you what's up here. What I've done is I've taken what normally is on my palette, and I cut it out, and pasted it up here with some tape so that you can see the colors I'm using back and forth. It's just a little easier for you guys to follow along with me. So what I'm going to do, and the brush is about a number 5, and it's made by Round, and it's made by Princeton Art and Brush Company, and it comes to a really great point. So we're going to start with the raven's face. So we're going to come over here, pick up a little good old black, and go right in here. Let me get this back so you can see. We're going to start with his eye first. And there's a lot of little darks around. This is just good old black, because the ravens are really dark. Now I've got a pattern on here. I need to talk to you for a minute about the good old pattern. Now, most folks, when they put this pattern on, they get a good pattern, but then they stop looking at the picture they're working from, and they lose the drawing, and the whole thing comes out a little bit on the cartoony side. So watch that. I'm going to come down. This is black. Did I name this? Black, sienna, cad red lights. That's what's in here. Then this is ultramarine blue and white. Okie dokie. So now we're going to come back and get this going. Now, the raven is put in stages. Now that has a little more sienna. I'm going to come over and pick up that black. Boy, that's handy. It's good for you and it's good for me. I don't have to reach way down. So we're going to get this sort of this base tone going. And the paint's not really thick. And I use a little terp to thin the paint down with a little here. Okie dokie. And what I did, I forgot to put out my terp. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to reach over and get a little container and pour a little terp. It's odorless, thinner, or turpentine. And I'm going to dip into that, which is going to thin the paint down now. There. Kind of like a watercolor consistency. Now I'm putting it on really thin so I can go over it with some other colors. Now there's a nice dark that comes in, and that beak kind of curves around, and it kind of takes a little dip down. It's very dark down here. Some of the feathers are actually coming out a little bit. Notice the curve coming down to his shoulder. The paint is very, very thin, very thin. Kind of scrub some of it in. Boy, it's almost like it's painting itself. I'm thinning it down so that some of that other undercoat is showing through. Yeah. Now again, I have to stress to you guys to be truthful to your drawing. Follow along. Now there is a definite direction of your strokes. It's because we're following along on this part of his body here. You notice the sort of the curvy stroke coming on down, very thin, because we'll be going over it with some other colors. Letting that underpainting show through. Take a little of that dark. That's showing the part of the wing that's there. And maybe we'll just bounce around a little, showing, a lot of it is just indicating feathers, not actually painting everything in. Coming on down to where his little feet are. Okay. Yeah, I'm I'm going to get a little more of that. Let's get a little more of that kind of sienna color. A little bit thicker. Just to warm up that black. So it's not just black. You might not see it, but there's some sienna jumping around in there. Straight black. Notice how I'm just kind of hitting it to indicate feathers. You're not just stroking it in to be stroking it, but you're getting a feeling of feather work. Getting your finger in there and blending this stuff out. Look at it come out over the wing. Yeah. It come up here very thin again. Now the top of his beak has a lot of white. So I'm going to come in for our white over here. Take some of our white. And the beak is slightly curved. Now you see why your brush has to come to a nice point. And as it comes back, it kind of loses itself, pat, into the dark. There's a little bit of light around the eye. There's some little pin feathers that come out here. These birds are very smart. And the Native Americans worship the bird because they are so smart. And if you leave anything shiny on your patio, they love to pick them up and take them back. I'm going to come in here to the blue and white, to their nest. I don't know why. They just like that shiny look. But they're smart little devils. They even get into my trash that I put out front. They know how to pop the lid off. Yeah. Look at that light, little reflected light coming in there. Take your time, don't rush. Well, you gotta love this stuff. Indicating feathers. Don't you love that reflected light? Let's get a little more of that ultramarine blue, because blue recedes into the background. And there is some blue back there, so it makes sense. This is a half tone. Those are the tones found between the dark and the light. Pick up some more of that blue and white. Sometimes you have to wait for it to set up. Half tones. They're elusive little devils. Half tones will run from you. You have to learn, here's that word again, you have to learn to see. See. Painting quality is just paying attention to the detail. That's all it is. Most people won't do that. I watch people in my workshops. I'll put a photo up for them to look at, and they look at it for a couple minutes, and they stop looking at it and start just painting, just filling in spaces. And that's when the whole thing goes down the tubes. Down the tubes. I was watching George Carlin, the stand-up comedian, and he says, "What tubes? What are tubes? Has anybody ever found a tube?" And then there's two tubes. And if they go down the tubes, Where do they go? He's funny. There's that foot coming out. We'll play around with that later. Probably a lot of that will be lost. Here I'm thinning it down. Oh, it needs to go darker, so let's come up and take... God, don't you love it? The fact the paint's swatch is right here for us to play with. You might want to do it on your canvas. Of course, when the butterflies go in, we'll have to take it off. Look at me patting it, and we're going to lose that down. It's going to lose it down into the dark, where it's going to just disappear. Oh yeah, you can use your finger. It disappears into nothing. Let's get that little leg of it. There's a little tail back here showing. So we'll take some of that. Get it back in here. I hope you can see. Sometimes my hand might be in the way, so please forgive. Yeah. And some tail, very dark back here, because that's the back of his tail showing. Of course, we'll be working all of the background back over the bird later. Now let's get that dark going in here. Oh boy, I see a little warmth in there. Sometimes you see stuff. Put it in. There's his little belly coming out. And there's some warm, cool color. Kind of a C-stroke. Halftones. Very important. Things are happening. Some things seem to be happening for the first time. Seems to be happening again. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's get some of that cool. Very dry, so it sticks to the wet. Yeah, maybe that's why they call it wet on the wet, wet on wet. Don't lose the mystery of the whole thing. I see. See, it's done in layers, I know. Curved strokes as it curves around the body. Now there is strong light coming in here. So maybe we'll take some of that white, ultramarine blue. Oh, not light enough. Yeah. Whoa. Little stuff happening. I want some strong light coming in. Contrast. Adds that dramatic look to your painting, even if it's not in the photo. You put it in. That's the difference between a photographer and somebody that paints. Not that photography is, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, but we can do stuff they can't do. Or maybe they don't want to. Now you see the light spilling across. And as it comes across, I'll get into this blue again, because it's going to get a cooler color. Halftones. Again, following that contour. Oh boy, I see some yellow and I don't have any yellow out there. I'll put a little right on here. Orange and yellow. Very dry. Working in. Little reflected light, a little more yellow. This was never in the photo. I'm putting it in because we're going to have yellow over here, and it'll be reflecting back up into the bird, indicating a little detail in the wing, not much. This is kind of black and sienna mixed together. So you can see it's a building one. You never just get it by just putting your brush down. And there it is. Very seldom does it work that way. And it coming down, I wanted to get darker because it's going to disappear into the background. Later on, we'll cover up with some stuff. Maybe some spatters, who knows what. We'll just play with it, but that's later. Let's get this guy going. He's just flopping right in. Well, you never know. I want to pull that down. I want it to disappear into the dark, into the background, so I can bring that stuff over the top. Yeah, now let's get his little feet going here. Even his feet are going to be covered up mostly, but just for now, we're just going to put them, indicate them, that he's got some feet coming out. You won't see a lot of detail in his feet. Or his legs. A little more orange down in here. Get a little more of that blue, 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 blue. Sometimes you have to let the bird tack up a little too. But if you can get this far and he's still looking good, you're way ahead of the game, my friend. Take some of that dark on my finger. Some of that dark over in here. Notice this goes on last. Not all over it. You notice how I'm just hitting it. Maybe just brighten it up a little bit on the top. There's a little bit of overhang up there. And there's a little bit of reflected light way up here. And we can go in and, oh, there's a little of that orange, yellow. Right in here. Well, can you see it? Not much, don't overdo. Some more of that blue. Well, I'm picking, it's going off your screen. Right in here. Don't get that value too light. I hear you at home. Stop, stop. You're going to overwork it. Okay, let's get started with our bird. The raven has had a chance to dry overnight, so it's tacked up nicely. Over here, I've added another color stream, and this is all oil. This is white, zinc white, or titanium white, cadmium orange, cad red light. There's some yellow in there, cad yellow medium, and turquoise. So what I'm going to do, we want a feeling in the bird of some reflected light coming up a little bit stronger. So I wanted to show you how to do that. Remember, the last thing you do is the first thing people see. So and because this is set up, I can put my hand on there now. So I'm going to go in here and punch this up a little bit more, kind of a yellow, orange feel to get a little more of that glow. Can you see that? Yeah. We're going to pull that down. Pay attention. See, it's paying attention to the detail that makes people want to buy your stuff. It separates you from the other folks who don't want to take the time to do this last minute stuff that really, can you see the glow? We're going to take some of that turquoise, maybe white. Hope you guys like the fact that this is up here so you can see what I'm doing. So look at that. Now there's a little change of color. We went from warm up into a cool that just sort of tapers out as it comes up. But maybe some of that is, you see, and I kind of wiggle the brush. You see this detail? You see it? This is what most people don't do. We are doing what most people don't do, because they're all looking for instant paintings with the minimal amount of effort. And what happens? Yeah, it kind of looks like a bird or a landscape or whatever. But what happens? It gets cartoony. And that kind of painting, oh boy, look at that glow. Turquoise. I'm reaching, oh, you can't see me, I'm reaching for some turquoise. That kind of painting isn't for us. I'm going to bring that cool note up. This is very dry now. No terp on the brush. See, all this little stuff going in, it's so subtle. You hardly even know it's there. And if you're into doing, what I'm showing you, you are among the 10% that I keep talking about all the time. 10% of the population. But if you hung in there this long with me on this video, you're among the 10%. The other 90% are into that other stuff. The easy stuff. The stuff that kind of looks like a painting, but it's not. I think they do it so they can call themselves artists. If you cut your finger and put a Band-Aid on it, it doesn't make you a doctor. But it seems like if you put marks on a canvas, all of a sudden you can call yourself an artist. I don't think so. You're just fooling yourselves. Do some worthwhile stuff. Earn the right to be called an artist. It's a select group of folks. A select group that are into doing what I'm showing you here. If it gets too busy, run your finger kind of hit it here and there to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Cad red, light, and orange. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to show you some of this stuff that people who spend big bucks for your paintings want to see. Yeah. This is black. I'm really going in now, and if it gets too busy, don't forget the finger. Give it the finger. Yeah. Indicating some detail, but not too much. Ravens are very, very smart birds. And like I said, the Native Americans worship the bird. They're very, very smart. And they mate. When they mate for life. I have ravens. I live in Sedona, Arizona. I have ravens flying around my backyard. And they fly in pairs. They're very family oriented. And they hang out together. But don't leave anything shiny on your deck in the back, because they will come down and steal it. Yeah, they will. Put a little stronger, dark. So you can spend hours looking at your painting, looking at the photo, is seeing what you're missing. You see that dark playing against that light? Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a little bit of my turquoise blue. See how I pat it? Pat, pat, pat. Okay, there's also a little bit of that turquoise up here. Little teeny little feathers that come up. They're just barely visible. Pat, pat. You're constantly seeing new stuff to put in. And always asking yourself, what can I do to make it better? That's his top of his shoulder. A little light coming out. We want that contrast in there. So the trick here is you want detail, but not so much that it's going to be distracting, because we do have butterflies to go in. See how I kind of wiggle the brush so you don't get too tight. I'm looking at one little point right here. Maybe that little leg might pick up a little. Yeah, a little light there. And a little light here. Not too much. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Detail, detail, detail. Got a little bit too much there. I'm going to put that in shadow. That's better. Okie dokie. Well, I think we're looking cool. I'm going to take a little orange and yellow. Right here, you can't see that, but just bring that out a little bit. Loosen it up, loosen it up. If it gets a little tight, just wiggle the brush in there and loosen it up. So you're always going back and forth until you end up at a good place. Or you end up with it all going down the toilet. Which happens. Hopefully not on this one. I know this is a long video, But everything I'm showing you is so important that I don't want to leave anything out, which makes the video run a little bit longer. But you can always fast forward me. Well, you shouldn't really, because you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Okay, we're going to get off of this bird, because if we do too much, it can get too busy, because we do have butterflies going in underneath. So maybe we'll just take this off of here. And there we have our background. And our butterflies are going to go right in here. There's one up here and one over here. You don't want to stack one on top of the other. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a minute now, and I think I'm going to stop. Let me take a peek what we're doing. Down in here, I might take, I don't have my acrylics out. Let me put my acrylics out, because I want to do a little down here before we start with our butterflies, so I'm going to come back in a minute. Okay, what I want to do is this is going to be acrylic, because this is also acrylic back here, is take some black. I want this very dark down here before we get in with our other stuff. So I'm going to darken this all up. You can let a little of the underpainting show through. And up it comes. And it'll just kind of peter out up here. The rest will be done in oil up there. And coming over to the light, I'm going to take some yellow, orange, and tie that in. Notice the stroke is a crisscross coming on over. Little stuff coming out, coming on up. Let it fade back into the background. Maybe let's play. Let's take turquoise. Somebody help me. Yellow and turquoise together. What's it gonna do? You never know. I'm going to take that in there. I need a little more. If I can find it any place behind me. No. I'm looking for orange. Here, well, how about magenta? This is Liquitex, by the way. Liquitex Basics. This is acrylic I'm into now. I'll put some of that out. That and yellow. Oh, and using a brush that's just a bristle, a little over 1 inch. Loose. Paint like you don't care. Paint like there's nobody out there gonna see your stuff. Play. God. Nice and loose and free. Remember, we'll go in later with oil. I'm going to give that a squirt with water. Okay, I squirted my oil up there. Hope it doesn't hurt anything. I don't think so. Now here, what would happen? Well, it doesn't really show. I like what's going on in there, though. Here's something. Takes a little guts. You gotta love it. Love it or turn me off, one or the other. At least do something. I love that. Kind of runny. Look at it go. Don't get in the way. Just sit back and marvel at it happening. I want to take some of this on my big brush, very wet. Oh, I was going to come up to the top, but you won't be able to see it unless I get up there. Sometimes nothing comes off. Yeah. I'm going to hit it again. Hit it again. I want that yellow coming down, and I ran out of yellow on my palette, so let me get some more out. We're being creative, guys. You really think you know what? You think, oh, well, he knows what he's doing. No, I don't. I don't want to know what I'm doing. What fun is that if you know what you're doing? Creativity lives outside of knowing what you're doing. Outside of knowing what you're doing. Again, we're just setting the stage for a little oily stuff that will be going in. Overlap that guy a little. See, just kind of bury him, but let some of it show through. I think, now up on top, you see this up here, I think those might get in the way of our butterflies. I'm going to try to get rid of some of that. Yeah, it's okay if it's kind of there. All right. Okie dokie. I like what we got. I like this stuff on the bottom. You see this stuff? You see that? This is what separates us from everybody else. Nobody wants to do this. I think because they're afraid of being ridiculed. They're going to say, oh, somebody's going to say, oh, look, his paint ran. How terrible is that? Blah, 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 blah. Don't listen to these people. Most of them are losers anyway. I said it. I'm glad. So be a winner. Be among that 10% that wants to have realism. Realism. Yeah, look at the bird. And he's going to be looking at, he could be looking at a hummingbird over here. A hummer could be over there. Yeah. Let me fix the looks like my contrast went bye-bye. I'm going to put my hand up there. There, that's better. Well, too dark. Yeah, right about there. Now, you could easily have a hummer over here if you wanted one, but we're going to have a couple butterflies. This doesn't really need that much, does it? It doesn't need that much. And that's going to be a lesson all in itself of how you end a painting, how you get out of the painting gracefully. Okay, I'm going to put a little pattern on for the butterflies. Oh, and also give him a little branch. Otherwise, he's just sitting up there with his feet out. This is acrylic, by the way. I hope I told you that. Okay. So I'll wait for this to dry. Butterflies are going to go in. Don't you love that accent color right there? I think what really makes this background is all this wonderful stuff. You put it in, you leave it alone so it looks fresh and clean and not overworked. And there's no subject in there, so that people, when they look at the painting, they won't get hung up with big flowers and all kinds of garbage down here. Keep it simple so that their attention will be up here on the raven and our butterflies. Okay, I'll be back in a minute and put a pattern on, and let's go butterfly crazy. Now I have a little sketch on here. You probably can't see it, but it's there. And we're going to take a little purple. The butterflies are going to be very, just kind of transparent and not too much detail. So in it goes. It's kind of like a watercolor. I'm going to put a little touch of white with that. This is oil. And an odorless thinner. You can see it doesn't take too much. Get his little wings separated. Boy, you know, we did most of this painting with this one brush. That's kind of cool. Look how thin it is, so it doesn't have to be thick. And the wings get a little bit lighter. Again, this is oil. Make sure your brush comes to a nice point. So I'm just using mauve and white. So I actually have this one in the painting I'm looking at. It actually is more on the blue side. It doesn't matter. A little black to find his little body, very important. It sort of nails everything down. There's little feelers coming out, make sure they're skinny. Some of that dark coming out. And a little more of this mauve and white. And everything heads towards the body. I'm putting this on a little darker. Bring them out a little bit more. And it kind of fans out. Keep them nice and loose. And again, not a lot of detail. A little more white towards the edge. See, so as we bring that out, maybe a little more here. And again, keep it simple. So they're kind of, the butterflies are just there. A little more light, maybe accent. See, it's just kind of a dot dot. Don't get hung up on a lot of detail. It's not necessary. Looks better if they're not detailed out. And the next one down, we're going to take some turquoise. Actually, I have it backwards. This one was turquoise and this was mauve, but it doesn't make any difference. And here goes the turquoise in. Very thin, thin down with terp. Little black for his body. Kind of tapers. And turquoise, I'm going to mix turquoise and black. And it's the same thing, it just fans out. Keep it thin. You can see it almost paints itself. Just don't get hung up on a lot of little detail. And turquoise and white to bring the edge of the wing out. Dot, 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 dot. And highlight it a little. Oh, these guys are just flopping right in. We got lucky. God smiled on me. Yes, he did. More coming out. There's another kind of a split coming out. A little more white. To accent. Dot, 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 dot. More white. So, see, it doesn't take that much. We're only putting in what's necessary. If you want to detail them out more, you could do that. But it might lose the transparency if you bring it out too much. Maybe we'll take some of that turquoise and bring it up there a little touch to tie them together. A little more white and blue. See, by bringing it out lighter, it brings that wing out towards us. And when they're transparent like these, they recede into the back. Keep it simple. Let me get a little more of that turquoise. That turquoise looks good up here. Notice how that blue recedes, makes that wing go back. And a little light up here brings the wing towards us. Simple, simple stuff. If you lose the body, just take some black and bring it out more. Bring this edge out more. Get more white right in here. Cool. Doesn't take that much, guys. Lost a little of his body, so I'll bring some of that back. Sometimes you can just take your finger and lose part of that wing into the back. I like that. Makes it look more translucent. Same here, same there. And up here. Looking at it, maybe this needs to come down more. Yeah. Okie dokie. Now what we're going to do is come down to the bottom. And this is a whole new ball game down below now. Way down here. Yeah. So we have the illusion of a lot of stuff in there. I take some turquoise on my finger and just get it started. Turquoise and white. Tiny bubbles. I'm going to take some yellow and orange on my finger. We want to give the illusion that there's a lot of stuff in here. And as it comes over, it just kind of loses itself. This is good old oil. I'm going to come in and give the illusion a little flowers. Find a center. Yeah. Now we're cooking. Just an illusion that maybe they're little daisies. And they'll slowly come down. And they'll just kind of lose themselves into the background. And we don't want these flowers standing out too much. It's not a flower painting. So let's fuzz some of them out. There we go. So they take their place in the background. Put a little center in there. Now, there's a lot of junk in there. It's to get the feeling that there's a lot of stuff without actually painting it. A lot of turpentine here. And we're going to just hit that in there. So it looks like a lot of stuff in there. Little cad yellow medium. We're going to hit it like this. If I get a blob, just hit it. So he's got his little feet up there. Can we see his feet? Come on up. I'm going to take a little black and sienna. And give him something that he is standing on. So he's not just floating around in the background. Can we see in there? It might be a little dark. We'll bring some branches out. And more yellow. I need more yellow. Again, good old oil paint. I want it to look like it's full of stuff. And this will do it. Right down to the bottom. And we're going to overlap right here. You see those? To set him behind everything. A little more, maybe a little lighter. I know it takes guts to do this. Or stupidity, I don't know. Maybe you have to be a little stupid to do this stuff. Oh boy, there's a good one. Oh, it's starting to take on a feeling of almost finished. Can we, let's see if we back up a little. If I can get it backed up. Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess it's as far as it'll go. Okay. A little more yellow. Maybe you just pull the whole camera back a little. That's as far as it'll go. I'm going to take a little more yellow. White. No, I'm just kind of indicating. This is where you need just to get loose and free. We're being creative now. You don't want to play it safe. You can't screw up. If you do, you just go over it. No big deal. Every once in a while, I'll put a little star in the back. Let's see if we can't get one in this little guy. We have a little circle maybe here. This is where you have to have a brush that comes to a nice chisel. And we'll have a little edge coming down. And another one up here. Oop. Another one this way. This way. And a little more white. in the middle. I'll take my finger and smear that out a little. See if we can't get that a little lighter right in there. Oh boy, it's glowing now. Get quiet when I'm doing this stuff. That's not bad. It's just sort of sitting in there. If it gets too heavy, too hard, just hit it. Now maybe we'll get some stuff. Just going to hit around it here. Just kind of hide that guy back in there. So it's just kind of there. Pick this up here, drop the blob down there. Okie dokie. Well, let's see how the whole thing looks here. Did we do a good job? I hope so. This video ran a little bit longer than I thought, but I didn't want to I wanted to get everything I could in there, and I think I got most of it in there. I don't want to overdo the bottom part here and get too much stuff, because you can overload it and then it pulls all the attention away from the rest of the painting. So you don't want to do that, but I want to darken up. See, it's the center that makes these. There we go. It makes them look like little flowers. You just go into a blob and put a little center in there, and all of a sudden people go, oh, that's a flower. But don't get crazy with this stuff. It's just kind of there. And keep the bottom part nice and loose and free. Okie dokie, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button on the bottom. I got more stuff I want to do for you. And, oh, you know what? I completely forgot. Hold on a sec. Let me see. No. I was going to show you the circle, but I need a paper plate, and I don't. Let me get up and see what I can find here. I'm up off my chair. I got a little paper, a little cardboard cutout here. Oop. Nothing like doing a video that's not edited. Yeah. Now, there is a little circle, because well, I could put a few more of my orbs in. It ain't over till it's over. Yeah, this. I'm going to have to tilt this camera up a little more. Get way up here to the top. Now, this gets a little spooky, and it's not for everybody. And you guys, you don't have to do this. But I'm just nutty enough that I want to do it. I want to do it. I'm going to take a little blue, turquoise blue, a little orange, which is the complementing color, and it just sort of dulls it down a little. Put that up here, over my finger, half on, half off. You have to go over it several times. don't know if you can see. Maybe a little shot over here. Don't know. And now you're wondering, what does it look like underneath? It's going to be Christmas. We're going to get a gift. Let's take a peek. Oh yeah, I like that. Now what does that do? Boy, it changes the whole thing, doesn't it? It sort of frames the raven. It takes it like another dimension. You need to try this stuff, guys. I know. It's spooky stuff, I know. But take a peek. You can see what we're doing. If you think this is for you, if you think this is something you guys might want to try, then you're in the top 10% of the population that loves this stuff. Yeah, I remember when I was first starting out, I took my flower paintings into a gallery. This was years ago in Laguna Beach, California. And I showed them. It was poppies and rose paintings. And the owner said, well, they're very nice, but they're too pretty. Too pretty. And they're not edgy enough. Well, at that time, I didn't know what too pretty meant. And I didn't even have any idea what edgy was. What's edgy? Somebody please tell me what's edgy? Anyway, that was way back before I started doing all this stuff. And this is edgy. This is not a pretty little painting. It's edgy. And this, if you guys want to get your prices on your paintings beyond $300, $250, $400, get up into the thousands, this is where you want to be. This is what I'm doing. I mean, there's other artists doing their thing too that are just so good. This is just one approach. It's my approach. It doesn't mean this is the end of the road. Watch other people on YouTube. Look at Renoir. Look at Monet. Look at their prints. Study their color. You'll see that Renoir and Monet, they all use the same technique, except they had water lilies in the pond and all that stuff. But it's still the same approach. It's still basically an abstract base. You need to learn to see beyond the sugar that's on top of a painting. Okay, that's enough preaching. Hit my subscribe button, because I watch my video, my computer, and I see the numbers coming in, and I see and they are coming in. And boy, I tell you, right now I've got over 16,000 subscribers, which is great, and I need more though. So please subscribe. Please, and send me an email. Say, hey, we hate what you're doing, or hey, your paintings suck, or whatever. Just express yourself and let me know what you think. Anyway, there it is. Take care out there, and I will see you guys on another video. Take care, happy painting, and don't give up. Keep in there and persevere. Take care. Bye-bye.